I'm just giving it a few more minutes for more people to show up. And I'm muted because I'm eating jelly beans. I have the Trader Joe jelly beans. The gourmet jelly beans. No, they're actually really good. They're my answer to Jelly Belly, which I think had political problems I didn't agree with at one point. And by boycotts, are grudges that live forever. So they're dead to me. You know, I like the Starburst ones where it's too much, like the sugar in those for some reason is almost toxic. All right, we're gonna give it one more minute, and then we'll just dive into it and have fun. Hopefully, help some people. Yeah, DGen hours at all cons are usually the best part. Everything's just falling apart. Everyone starts giving stuff away. It's like, I didn't sell this. Take this copy by game, but I don't want to carry it home. It's all good, Will. He's not editing out this jelly bean content. You give the people what they demand, right? All right, so I'm going to fire this up, and not really going to be looking at the chat too much because it'll distract them. So, yeah, no, if we're good, I think it's about time. So, yeah, get your drinks. If you're looking for a snack, now's probably the time. Let's, take some notes. If you're basically who this is for, it's essentially people looking to get a quick overview of what it takes to actually start a business. Assuming you have no prior knowledge of what it takes to legally, technically get a business going, and you're trying to wrap your head around the scope of what starting up looks like. So, for anyone who is listening and hasn't seen the madness of a chat, that's where we'll be putting any questions, and I'm sure anything you put in early will probably get lost, but I'll check it towards the end, and I'll save 15 minutes for Q&A, and if we have to move it along at some point, then you can always hit me up on Twitter. Also, again, I am dyslexic and I'm reading, so if I botch it quite a bit, just please bear with me. I'm doing my best. All right. So, yeah. So you want to start a business and you don't know where to start. You're not alone. Last year, 5.4 million small businesses were started. So in this talk, I'm going to discuss things to consider if you want to make your hobby into a business. Why you're listening to me? Fair enough. I'm Matt. You may know me as DungeonGlitch on the onlines. I own Gemmed Firefly. I have a store that sells t-shirts and other fun niche things. That is my hobby as a business. Some background, I didn't go to school for business. I'm an English and journalism major. Everything I learned about business came about 10 years after graduating, when I decided I was sick of working for corporations and wanted to start making money for myself. So the good news is Gemmed Firefly made about $35,000 in its first year. And that's grossed. So truth is, though, after costs, business fees, marketing, taxes, general overhead, the company barely profited a quarter of that. I'm super proud of it. I mean, I am my brand. It makes me very happy. I mean, it has to. I need it to. Sounds great, right? But for being real, people tell me I'm lucky, and I hate that. It's insulting. Behind the scenes, I work constantly. If anything, with the effort I've put in, I feel like I should be farther ahead. But I've made every mistake you can make within reason, And that's why I'm getting better and better at it. Eventually, you start to know all the answers that the experts don't give away for free. So let's do some of that. Let's give some of that wisdom away for free here. Thanks for showing up at JennCon 2022, hanging out. So yeah, no, give yourself credit. You showed up to something that hopefully can help you build a company, expand your project, maybe a career. There's a lot you can do here. So I'm going to quickly hit topics related to questions that I get a lot, and I'll try to save time at the end again for anything that comes up. So write down questions, take all the notes, all that stuff. First off, let me say, while I am a business and marketing consultant, I am not a financial, legal, or tax consultant, nor expert. And all information here is meant to help guide your own research into these topics. Please do your own due diligence, consult your accountants, hire experts and lawyers. Make sure you get all this stuff done right. That's why they're there. I pay people to set up my companies because I'm terrified of filing it wrong. I know how to do it. I don't want to do it. Do not be afraid to spend on expert services, research, invest in these professionals, and best business practices. I say this a lot, best business practices. This means you follow all the rules, regulations, and guidelines to the letter professionally, including all platforms and services that you sign up to use. You are white hat, operate with the best intentions, and you treat your employees, coworkers, and customers with stellar respect. You hold yourself to the highest of standards, but you are also then entitled to expect that of other people that you work with. Be as professional and reliable as possible. If you want your business to be less stressful, be honest and transparent. People who run like scams, lies, tricks, any kind of gray or black hat stuff, that'll kill your brand in the long run, and it's hard to keep up that act. So just don't. Why put all this effort into your dream company and then lose it because you wanted to, lie for an edge, cheat an artist, flirt with some talent? It's a massive mistake. Just stop. Okay. All right, so Matt, why should my hobby be a business? Well, okay, maybe it should. I meant to say, should I make it a business? So the answer is maybe. Well, the reasons are often personal. I did it because I wanted to enjoy what I did and to give myself purpose. Some people do it for money. It's super important that you are passionate about it. You're going to need that passion to keep you going through all the rough patches and moments where you are going to want to quit. Sometimes you won't learn the measure of your passion until you try, and sometimes quitting is the correct answer. Only you can answer that. Doing what you love makes it feel less like work, but work will always be work. It's important to understand the trade-off. If your hobby becomes work, you will start to find some of it boring. You start to hate parts of it that you don't want to do. It will take up time when you don't want it to. You will be obligated to do your hobby, which can be stressful and can change how you feel about it. So, for example, imagine your job is to make dice bags. You've been doing it forever. Friends say you're great at it. You sell a few. You find a demand for the way that you do dice bags. You have to keep up with orders, which means you are making dice bags constantly. The good news is you're going to become an expert. You will know exactly the best ways to make dice bags, and more importantly, how not to make a dice bag. You will learn all about dice, your industry, shipping, understanding your customers, customer service. You will eventually master and innovate. Hopefully, but it will always be work. If it makes you smile, you're in the right place. All right. Why do I want to make my hobby an actual business? So you're making money and you plan to make money with what you're doing. In a perfect world, we all live off incomes of what we love, but what does that mean in the real world? To put things into perspective, I am an American In America, the IRS defines a hobby as something you do for fun without expecting to earn a profit. You make dice bags for fun and profit. You are now subject to taxes. Here's where you'll want to consult a certified tax expert or accountant, but forming a business such as an LLC will help you keep this income apart from your personal finances. You should be able to get tax deductions for expenses such as training, advertising, tools you use, materials, home internet, utilities. If it's involved in your enterprise, you may get to write some of it off. Again, consult an expert if you want more details. I'm not a tax expert. I pay tax experts. Get an accountant. Don't wing it, and definitely don't try to game the system, and don't sleep on it. Focus this way. If you pay the professionals, you get to focus on making really good dice bags, which will make you more money. Which, if you're paying taxes, it just means you're making money. Okay, Matt, how do I get started making a business then? I'm so glad you asked. I actually wrote a quick guide to it on DungeonGlitch.com if you just want to look at it at any point. But if you're looking to pull the trigger, you've decided you're going to give it a real shot. You're in it for the long haul. You're ready to invest in your project. The steps you need to understand, I'll touch on these quickly. And again, you can visit DungeonGlitch.com for these steps and resources. First, you pick your business structure. Chances are you want a sole proprietor LLC. It's neat and clean, and it's also the most inexpensive and flexible with reasonable protections. There are a couple other ones, but this is the one I recommend most. Look up all the options. People talk about like making like a corporation. I don't recommend that. I've done it. Don't do it. It's awful. Figure out your situation. Pick out what's right for you. Again, I'm an American, so check with your country's laws. If you're from the U.S., you want to look at difference by state. Yes, states have different business laws and different prices and incentives and restrictions. So do your homework. There are certain states which will give you bonuses and credits if you are in entertainment. If you have X amount of entertainment employees, they might just say, hey, you don't have to pay taxes. Again, look that up. Second, you file your business. You should have your brand by now. We'll touch on that in a bit. But since we're going through the mechanical setup, you file your business. Here you're registering with your state. You can go to your town hall clerk, get the forms, and even do it online. Again, I recommend a professional service for this because there's a lot to it. This will register and protect your entity name. So if you want to be, I really should have named this dice bag company. So we'll call it Jelly Bean Dice Bags. So you want to make Jelly Bean Dice Bags, and now you have to register it. So I don't make Jelly Bean Dice Bags. And it's a simple step, but it's important. It's really to get the ball rolling. And you're going to need that registration for all the extra steps. So depending on your structure in your state, it is required. In most cases, this prevents other people from making a company with your company name or entity. And you will also have to declare what it is that you do as a business. So keep in mind the scope of all the things that you want to do. Next, you're going to register with the state. This is a little different. You cannot do business in your state without registering. Again, pay a professional, but you can largely do all of this through the Secretary of State's office. Check your state for resources for everything involved. Then you're going to need a tax ID, and you need to understand your tax rules. I'll say it again, pay an expert. In many cases, you may actually need this before your state registration can be properly completed. And here you can start to get an idea of the complications involved. So your tax ID is called your employer identification number. Yeah, this is American advice. I'm just seeing the chat. Just scroll. So, it's not entirely too different from some places, but you might be able to see how it works. So yes, you have your tax ID, your employee identification number. It's like the social security number for your company, and it's issued by the IRS. It's very easy to apply for, and it's actually free to get. Because congratulations, you're now on the hook for more taxes. So find out everything you can about your local tax expectations, policies, regulations, schedules. Yes, you may have to file taxes yearly, twice a year, quarterly, even monthly. Depends on how much you're making and what your state says you have to do. I mean, relax in the long run. It means that you're making money, right? So, just don't screw this part up, and you get to keep more of it. That's the important part of taxes. It's not really how much. Someone once said to me about taxes, it's not how much you make, it's how much you get to keep. So make sure you do this part correctly. Now that you have your tax ID, you need to get your licenses and permits. You want to check with every source of your federal, state, and local rules and regulations. Again, you pay an expert, they do all this for you. If you're doing it on your own, you must stay up to date on current rules and regulations. I think it was 4 years ago, they actually changed a law about how hobbies work for making money. So you have to keep up on this kind of stuff. I think they limited it to like as long as you make under 6K, the taxes aren't as bad. But I think they got rid of that and made it much worse. But yeah, look that up. So now if you have your regulations and your permits and you are registered, that's the minimum. Congratulations, you're now a legal business entity, at least in the United States. Congratulations. That's really all it is to it. Speaking about it doesn't sound that much in real life. It's a lot of forms, it's a lot of waiting. But in some cases, you can just get it done, and you can pay for it to get done, and they'll send you everything about a week later, and you're good to go. Again, you're going to want to consult an expert for resources of all of these things and other topics such as hiring employees, regulations around reporting, tax obligations for an employer, workers' comp, withholding, health and safety, minimum wage. This is why I say to start with a solo LLC, and you won't need to do any of that because it's just you. Otherwise, double, triple check before your dream company turns into an absolute nightmare of penalties and fines. All right, so that's the less fun, legal, bureaucratic stuff out of the way. Are we doing on time? 15 minutes. All right. So let's do some of the fun stuff, I guess. What's the real first step? All right, so let's back it up. I'm sure some of you are thinking, well, those better be some darn good dice bags, right? And you're right to be concerned. So when you're deciding to make your hobby a business, it's important to map it out and see if it's even doable. I know some people think that if they just commit and grind, everything will work out. No. Don't quit your job out of nowhere and suddenly make a dice bag business if you haven't researched everything about it. You want to understand your potential market, your costs, the time involved, the commitment. You might find that your level of talent as a dice bag maker, puts you right in the middle of a super saturated TTRPG hobby marketplace. I can only imagine some people are just like nodding at that idea. So worse, it takes you days to complete a bag, and it hurts your hands maybe to do a few consecutively. So you know your limits. I can't tell you where the money is for you or what you need to do to reach a level of success that you're happy with, that works for your lifestyle. You will have to measure a reasonable expectation of your own effort, the costs and the overhead. And this means like programs, materials, services that you need to get stuff done, access to the marketplace platforms to sell things, marketing. And again, deciding if it's something that will make you happy to continue to do, or if you're more likely to burn out and quit. One of my favorite advice to give anyone ever, I'm not reading this anymore. my favorite advice is just tell people, oh yeah, quit on your dreams. Just quit. Just stop. It's not worth it. And then it's like, people always come back and they're either extra determined or I saved them time. And I feel like it's super cruel, but I see people just like go from coal to diamonds, and it's worth it for me. It's like, you can do this if you really want it, but I got to tell you to stop, and hopefully you'll persevere. Otherwise, go play Overwatch or whatever you do. So if this feels overwhelming, basically you want to start with a goal. Just start simple off the start. We can get a better understanding of things when we label them. Are you trying to quit your job? Do you want extra side money? Are you just trying to do it for fun and any profit you make is just gravy? Researching here will help you manage expectations. If you know your business costs $500 a year to run, but you might passively make a few grand doing what you're trying to do, awesome. That's less pressure. You don't have to force yourself. You're not trying to scale. You don't have to grow anything beyond your comfort zone. And this also helps your customers know what to expect from you as well. It's just like an artist who sells commission slots. They know how many they can do in a month, and that's it. So if you're making dice bags from scratch, maybe you would work in that kind of thing too. So what if you don't know what your hobby can make? I mean, you mean like money. So now we do market research. You need to make sure your business idea isn't only appealing to you. And I know some people think, oh, I have this amazing idea, and no one does it. And there's that fine line of either it's brilliant and you've invented something, or no one does it because it doesn't work. So we're gonna get to testing and all that stuff. So I'm trying to see chat, and it's like I don't know if I missed the context in some points, and it's like I can't read. So this isn't as tricky as it sounds for the basics. You just need to answer questions about your potential customer. See what people buy, what questions they have, what feedback they leave on similar products. Go to Etsy. You make dice bags now. So see what people are buying. If you spot a trend and you can deliver, you're in business. See how much competition there is, and if you can do things better and different. Trust me, I'm one of millions of t-shirt stores on the internet. It's important to do things better and different if you can. Yeah, don't do fan art on Etsy. Yeah, don't do fan art for profit ever. It's IP. Don't. Best business practices. So yeah, finally, we want to identify your target market. For our example, you make dice bags on Etsy. You do a search and find 800 stores. You see people want dice bags, but how can you set it apart? I mean, I probably should have thought of an example here. What would I want if I was buying a dice bag and I wanted to innovate? What if dice bags had pockets? I put my mini in there. Perfect. So you do some searching around, you find 50 stores are already doing this. It already exists. You know how to innovate, and you can make pockets better, and you can use better materials. You know that if you pitch this to people who play in person, you're better off because digital dice users don't use dice bags or minis. So that's an example of basic market research. We saw what was out there, how to innovate, and who to pitch it to, and who not to pitch it to. Seeing someone say original IP doesn't make money. My entire store is original IP. Let's see. So yeah, you need a business model. You have your materials. You know how long it'll take. What does it all cost? Understanding your expenses. For your business to work, you're going to need to make more than it'll cost, right? So you got to get your figures together. When you have your cost, you can set your price. The problem, though, is what the customer is willing to pay. You make these fancy dice bags that might be worth $40 in material, but it's 3 days of labor. So can you get a consumer to pay $100 for a dice bag? This is just one type of business model too. Obviously, with TTRPG in general, you can make money off blogs, Patreon subscriptions, crowdsourcing. But in order to do any of these, it's important you understand the figures of your business model. Cost to make, cost to sell, and what people will pay. Trying to look at chat. So if you have a good idea for a business model, I mean, you're ready to go, right? Well, before you go all in on bulk yarn and fabric and ibuprofen, you should do a test. This can be as simple as pre-orders or asking a local shop if they'd sell a few for you. Maybe take a website with a coming soon page to measure interest with a mailing list. Maybe a small Kickstarter to test the product first. Don't be afraid to test stuff. Hubris will cost you money. Figure out what metric you want to use to measure your success and go with that. If you make 10 bags and you sold out at the price that you liked, that's a really good indicator. If you're sitting on a pile of bags after weeks of trying to move them, you gave it a good shot, but maybe reconsider your model now. All right, so you were successful. You sold all the bags. Now what? Here you are on the verge of an official business plan. If you have the figures and the how and the proof, you're kind of ready to go. A business plan is helpful if you're looking for investors, partners, loans, or crowdsource funding. I mean, don't tell me you buy Kickstarters that don't have a plan on their front page. This is really for people that are trying to make things really big. I don't really expect too many people doing this with a sole proprietor LLC, but you never know. I mean, if you have a great idea and you can see a way of manufacturing, if your plan involves additional funding to get things rolling, here is where you need to tighten everything up so that you can present your idea to investors. Yeah, you can make dope dice bags by hand, but what if you get machines to do it? And you sold them everywhere. Distribution? Maybe you're meant for big business after all. Maybe you should start reading up on supply chain management. These are advanced business topics. So, but I just wanted to kind of put that seed in your head that, if you wanted to do it, you could potentially do that. Okay. So you're ready to turn everything on, or at least start sending out products. You have your business set up. You have some potential customers. What are we missing? There is an important thing I haven't mentioned yet, and it's finances. You need to keep a business bank account. You must keep your company finances separate from your personal. Check with tax experts, business regulations in your state for protections. But in some cases, the second your business and personal finance is a mix, meaning your profits land in your personal account, you start to lose those protections that are granted to you by the system. And you can then become liable if something were to ever happen. It can get really messy if you need to get a loan at some point, because now you can't untangle your business credit from your personal credit score. So any dreams you had of things going big at any point are basically impossible. So make sure you keep good accounting books. It's not super hard. I'm awful with numbers, and I was an accountant. It's super easy. If you make sales through a platform like Shopify or PayPal, they help you keep track of everything. It's really basic. But if you're making stuff and selling things yourself, you must keep records. This means a profit and loss statement, cash flow statement, a balance sheet so you know what you're spending, what if you have credit cards, which I don't really recommend, so you know your credits and debits. Keep your books in order. You need to understand where money is coming from, when it moves, and where it is going. This helps create a sales forecast plan too. If you're trying to figure, well, I'm getting more customers here, this works. Maybe I can grow in X amount of months, and in some cases, you may know when your company is going to break even for the first time, which is always exciting and something everyone should celebrate when it happens. But I mean, if you're not keeping track, how are you going to know? So you're better off as you invest in your company and take profits. You can have this information. It's also kind of required. So if you're a basic tiny side hustle, you're probably fine, because it's like super small profits. And again, check with your local regulations because they might not care at all, and you're not trying to scale. So if you're trying to change your life with this money, you have to treat it like a business because that's what we're going for. So that is the extent of the boring part. I am running out of time. So again, for setup, I recommend paying for service because it's easier. I recommend if you need to go back for some of these resources, check out DungeonGlitch.com. I wrote it up there. Check it out, favorite it. Call the people I recommend because they're awesome. It's their job to help you out. Ask them all the questions. They'll help you by state. It's fantastic. Let's get into the real fun stuff. Let's touch on marketing and branding. If you're following me on Twitter, you know I love marketing. It's the flavor of business and personality. I actually love that marketing is like half of all business success. What, you thought you just make something really good and people just magically show up at your house and buy it? I mean, yeah, you can make the greatest dice bag on the planet, but if you're not marketing it to reach customers, you might as well, thank you for posting it, you might as well be putting it in a box on your lawn. I mean, even yard sales need yard sale signs. I'm going to say this as italicized as I can. Marketing is half or more of your business success. If you're not planning on how to market from the beginning, you're going to be spending more on trying to adapt later. You've already done the market research, right? Did you take notes on how your customers look for what they want? Have you seen your competitors' ads? Do you know where your customers are and how they consume information? The cost of a company's setup and materials aren't the only costs you should consider when starting out. Save a bunch of money for marketing. You can build a rocket, but what's the point if you can't gas it up? Proper marketing is the difference between a paper plane and a titanium space shuttle. You put all this effort and quality into your product, I hope, and your success deserves to reach the moon. Save some money for your advertising. And I know I mentioned branding, so it's important. You want to be recognizable. You can make something clever, something personal, or something that will stand out on its own. Let me tell you, Gemmed Firefly is a weird name for a business. The identity, though, is what I say it is, and there's freedom in that. If I were to call it Jelly Bean Dice Bags, then you know what it is. But that can help focus it on dice bag sales. But it might be weird that if I started selling other things, say I start doing music or mugs or shirts, right? So you consider your goals when you're starting out your brand, and you just try to work it into the title. Once you have your name, you're not done. You have to research it. Like you can't be close to something else, or you run into trademark or copyright issues. It's best to not be confused with anyone else in any way at all. especially because one day you're probably going to want to trademark, and they're just going to tell you flat out no. You cannot go and make Dragons and Dungeons LLC and then try to make TTRPG games. Wizards of the Coast will come to your house. Be reasonable. If everything works out, everything looks good, you're green light. I want you to immediately go out, buy the domain, and make all the social accounts. All of them. Get all that stuff locked down. I mean, like, the nightmare is you start to get successful and then find out that you don't own the website, someone else does. Or you're trying to show up on TikTok and some teenager has your TikTok name. You need all of it. You should do this before you file your company, like way before, of course. You want to get this brand stuff down because, I mean, what's the point of registering and then trying to figure it out later? Once you have this stuff secured and your business is set, you're now covered for copyright. That's good. Theoretically, anything that you put out is automatically copywritten by your brand. If you want to get into more specific official stuff, consult with a copyright lawyer, which I am not. I took 2 semesters of copyright in college because journalism, yay. Copyright infringement sucks. It's a reality most creators are going to have to accept and deal with as they put things out on the internet. Really, chances are someone's going to steal your stuff at some point. It happens to everybody. It happens to me. Really, the only mentality, I'm off script again. The mentality you kind of need to have is the fact that all they can do is steal, and you've already created something that is worth stealing, so just keep making more. They can't steal all of it. And eventually you're just going to keep getting better and better, and things are going to be awesome for you. Just don't stop creating. I mentioned trademark. Trademark is expensive, and that's left to experts, but it's not a bad idea to protect your brand, especially if you're on platforms where it kind of is important. Some platforms are better to deal with once your trademark protections are in place, specifically Amazon. There are plenty of horror stories of brands being successful on Amazon, only to have a troll come along and then trademark their company, their brand, and then get their entire work, everything, their marketplace, all of it is wiped out because they don't own the trademark. So if you have competitors that are black hat, they could do that to you. So make sure your stuff is in order. And also, best business practice is protect your stuff. It's the bare minimum. So you get your stuff in order. You know what your copyright is. I'm not going to get into DMCA stuff. It's pretty lousy, but it's something to keep in mind. So that's the super basics of brand junk. What are we talking about for marketing? I mean, hey, I make dope dice bags. Where can I go? Well, first you have to consider your budget. I know a lot of creators will laugh when you ask them about a marketing budget. But I mean, please, though, stop thinking you can tough out everything with grindy, do-it-yourself mentality. Yeah, you can do it, but it doesn't mean it's to be done. I mean, let's say you're determined to sell a product without paying for anything using money. Your options are incredibly limited, and what you save in money, you will pay for dearly in time and energy. I'd love to go into more and more about why this is an awful idea, but let's talk about how to actually make it plausible. As much as I love dunking on it, I do it. And I found a hybrid system that works for me, and ultimately you're going to have to find one that works for you. So say you do want to do it all for free. What does that look like? You will need to understand that you are not paying for advertising. In this case, you are signing up for a ton of work that requires attention, and it can be lost, destroyed, and ruined in the blink of an eye. You are your brand. It's the only way, because otherwise you have to pay someone else to be your brand for you. Using social media to promote yourself is the best way to do this. So First, we have to identify where your customers are. If you're TTRPG, good news, they're literally everywhere. Your real problem, though, is where are you the best? Everyone's on random social media platforms, and typically you gravitate to the things that you like. So start there. So let's touch on the top social media platforms. I mean, you know them. The best one, and I think it's the most hated, is Facebook. Love it or hate it, it's used by billions, and their creepy algorithm knows more about your customers than you could ever imagine. The question then is, do you think trying to get into Facebook for free, do you think you can navigate their terms of service and beat their algorithm while also engaging in Facebook groups without getting banned for spamming? It's a lot to do. Facebook, if you're trying to do it for free, has the smallest return. And it's designed that way. Facebook's a business. To quote Mark Zuckerberg, we sell ads, Senator. It's what he does. It's made that way. If you're trying to show up and you're trying to advertise for free, it will stomp you down. Speaking of, Instagram, owned by Meta or Facebook, it has the same creepy technology, but it has an entirely different customer base. So when TTRPG is everywhere, but you might already know the difference between Instagram nerds and Facebook nerds. You're going to get different age bases, different people who spend more or less. If you sell items that look good, it's not a bad way to go. If you can produce graphics and sell based on images, you can probably do really well on Instagram. The problem is saturation and competing for space on timelines. Instagram allows the most hashtags out of all of the social medias, but everyone spams them, especially those who are paying for it. You've got a long line to wait in before your content pops up somewhere relevant naturally for free. If you're hanging out there, you got to use Reels. Reels are the best way to get going. But at the same time, you're also better off using TikTok in that case, or really both. Third biggest is Twitter. Paula, if you're in TTRPG, you can sell everywhere, but the truth is, Twitter is your business card if you're a creator. Fortunately, the algorithm isn't as brutal as Facebook because Twitter isn't that great at monetizing. But also, I don't think they really thought it through when they were making it as much. And the algorithm, it won't entirely bury you consistently. Twitter demands that you give to it. If you spam, you're screwed. All these platforms are pay to play. That's the unofficial term for it, meaning that if you want the system to work for you, you have to buy media. That's what paying for ads means, buying media. You must pay for ads in some form. But Twitter also wants conversations. Like you have to contribute to a community. You have to get people talking. Twitter runs on conversations. If you're showing up and you're just gonna billboard, Twitter doesn't want you there. So why wouldn't it bury you? So, you work, start your conversations, and you can work a product into conversation. Notice how this doesn't say spam into the void. So, if you can make conversations happen, Twitter will show your product posts at like 10% of your reach when you post links. And be grateful for that because Facebook shows under 3%. I got to touch on it. I don't really use it myself, but I respect the hell out of it and anyone who can use it. Finally, we're on TikTok, and TikTok is awesome. If you can keep up with it and manage the trends, TikTok's algorithm is great for sharing things. It's the most intensive for content, though, so make sure it's something you're up for. TikTok system is built off cascading recommendations. So if someone likes your video, it's automatically sent to a lookalike profile of the person who liked it. From there, it's just seeing how far you can go. TikTok ads are still maturing, so the data isn't great on those, but time will tell. Chances are TikTok will change to make ads go farther if they end up like any of the other social media platforms. But we'll see. And I have to mention, as much as I hate it, Reddit. I know a lot of people are either excited or terrified of Reddit. Reddit is a very different animal on the internet, and if you're not fluent in it, it will kill you. Reddit is about karma. You have to understand the place you're posting, specifically the subreddits. Reddit ads are often attacked by users, so pay at your own risk. Yeah, it's like that. At the same time, Reddit is stuffed with savvy, spend-happy users who love to spot things off of the mainstream social media, and they support it. They pay a lot if they like you. So there's a lot of money to be made in Reddit, but you really have to know what you're doing. And it's not something you just kind of, I saw a video on YouTube, I think I'm ready for. Also, you can use YouTube if you want to make videos, but that's not something you can just kind of really do as easy as the others. So anyway, once you know which platform suits you, go all in on one. I know everyone wants to, I'm on TikTok. I'm on all of these. Don't. Devote your time to being as quality as you can and engage your potential customer on one platform. Just the real reason is that because you want to give feedback to people that comment. You're trying to engage. You're trying to build a rapport, So you can't post on all of them and keep up with the feedback every single day, even if you had all day. I mean, which you probably don't. So pick a community, wade into it, help people, make friends, add value, get involved. And as long as you support, it comes back. That's people will support you and customers will come. And again, you're doing this for free, so it's a long process. Free social media growth takes a while. Making friends one at a time, I mean, the good news is you don't need fans to be successful. You only need 1,000 loyal ones. If you can cultivate a community and a fan base of a certain number of loyal supporters who like you, your brand, and your product, you'll be in good shape with everything that you do. Ultimately, you want to give more than you take. This is a community you're working in. People talk. People know when they're being sold to. People know when you're not dealing straight, or if you're greedy or shady. Best business practices, again, treat people like people. Be your best self out there. Or, don't. If you're not comfortable talking to people, get a second job and pay a marketing professional. I mean, your rocket needs fuel. You can either dig it out of the ground and process it yourself, or hit up a gas station. So either way, if you're not doing it right, then you're back to selling your TTRPG product, your dice bags, on your lawn. Okay, so I hope this helps some people get an idea of what it takes to get your business stuff going. Make your brand, know your customers, save for business costs and marketing. That's your startup stuff. File your business properly. Keep your finances apart. Conclusion, starting a business can be daunting, but with the right information, it can be easy. Follow these steps and you will be on your way to starting your own business. Be kind, work hard, best business practices. And a reminder that the official formation guide steps are on DungeonGlitch.com, and I'll be adding more soon. And that's it. Thanks for hanging out. Let's look at chat. Oh, you guys are great. Thank you so much. Let me sip of water right here and try to read some of this. Yeah, Kyle's here. Kyle knows what I'm talking about. Hey, Kyle. Hey, thanks, fruits. You guys are all great. Any random questions? I've in the full year and in some change that I've been on social media. I've never done an AMA, and it's kind of the closest it's getting right now. But if you got any business stuff, yeah, what do you got? Ooh, okay, yeah, all right. You know what? My favorite jelly bean is actually the black jelly bean. A lot of people think I'm crazy, but it also makes me a great partner because everyone who loves jelly beans, they'll be like, "Oh, you can have these ones that I don't want," and they're my favorite. The anise black licorice. Do you prefer vowels or consonants? I'm gonna say vowels because like my name is nothing but vowels. Okay. So I've been attempting to get socials more consistent. If you can't do socials yourself, who do you look for to build a community, especially a startup? Um, so if I'm understanding this correctly, if attempting to get socials more consistent, so what is that? You don't have time, or you're just posting at odd intervals. If you don't do socials yourself, so are you paying someone to do socials, or are you just kind of showing up in someone else's community, which is fine too. If you're giving to a small Discord and you're providing value and supporting people, that counts. You can make it as small as a Discord, and then slowly, gradually add to it. That absolutely works. If you can't do socials yourself, so another thing you can do too for that, I guess, if you can't keep up with socials, blogging also works as a way to slow the conversation down, and you can kind of come back to it there. But you also sort of need to make sure people are commenting or finding different ways to do it. In that case, YouTube might also work because you could, if you're into doing videos, you can leave open-ended stuff and then come back to the comments. But you have to come back to them. If you don't, then there's no point. What did you find to be the most surprising time sink? Sleep. Let's see. The time sink for me is waiting on apps for one. Like if I'm putting something up on the store, it can take a while. If I'm changing prices, that can take a weekend. And it's awful. It's the technical stuff, and like my typical complaint always is that the things that I pay for or services that I get that aren't like the premium stuff, it's sometimes always wrong. Something always goes wrong with like these free sites or anything like that too. It doesn't do what it's supposed to do, and I get upset a lot. It's like you buy something, why doesn't it work? So so I guess ultimately time sink is fixing things and workarounds. But if you're resourceful, then it's not that bad. And also, if you have good friends who recommend you things that do work, take notes and thank them. Let's see. What is the advantages of long form and short form releases, and what release consistency you think is good? Sleep is actually serious advice. I wish I slept more. I'm awful. I tell my wife I'm bad in bed, and that's what I say. And yeah, it's just goofy. Sleep is stealing time from me. So long form and short form release, like say a blog post, say you do like something like pages worth of information versus small stuff. Oh, okay. So right. The advantages, I guess, is they're different animals, right? So a one-page game, highly consumable. you can also, it's a lot easier to edit once it's out. You can put updates. Thank you, Kyle. Thank you, Kyle. We gotta hang out soon. Yeah, I mean the thing with shorter form things, price points between all of these will change. I mean, you shouldn't do a 20-page game for $1 or pay what you want. If you are putting out a 20-page game, you should see what things cost. You'll know the time frame of how things should go to put them out. trying to encompass everything that I can think is worth doing here. So a good example is like Tatanomachia RPG. They released Caltrop Core, and that encouraged a lot of people to just grind out games. And I think having it be more successful as a small thing made it go a lot farther than it would have if it was a longer original rule set. And if you're trying to make money, sometimes going big is the best way to go, because you can run an expensive Kickstarter or a higher price point, and as long as you do well, then it'll justify that price tag. So really, it's going to be up to what you can put into in time and how you want to market it, because pay what you want stuff sells pretty quick, but that's good for your image. It's not, and it's good for your career if that's also what you want. Like, no one can tell me that Lex isn't a great game designer at this point. So, all right, Amber. I'm gonna ask a dyslexic guy. Matt, how much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? I pulled 4 jelly beans. We're gonna say 4 wood. A busy person is much more likely to pick up and read a 1-page game. Yep. Yeah, knowing your audience definitely helps. Definitely helps. I hope that is there any other aspect you were wondering about or anything else? Is it persuasion, perception, or performance? I'm not sure the context. Oh shit. Dyslexia. I don't even know anymore. I'm gonna wait for a question. I'm gonna need a jelly bean. Oh, Amber, were you in a game? Oh, session 0, cool. Hey, Will's the boss. If it's closing time, you don't gotta go home. Oh, there's a question about web shops. Okay, so first, well, give me an example. What are you trying to make? What are you trying to sell? See, the thing about web shops is, in my opinion, there's really like 4 or 5 quality ones you can use, and it then comes down to which ones are full service piecemeal, or if it's made up of various small vendors that are going to try to nickel and dime you on. I mean, you're the closer. It ends when you wanted to. I think I'm the last show, right? So I don't have any. I'm not. Am I the closer? Yeah, I'm the closer. All right. Yes. Yeah. No, we did talk about this. So you're setting the store with the print full as the back end. So yeah, if you're trying to do your own vendor shop, and I recommend it, because like more and more you're seeing shops like Etsy raising their prices, penalizing people, just really taking advantage of people that are using their space, and it's it's unfortunate. But owning your own place, you get to control most of the rules. I mean, you can write all of your terms of service for everything that you want to do. You're not bound to anything on Etsy. You can sell whatever you want. I mean, my number one selling product is a flag that says "fuck around and find out." I can't sell that on most of the things that I want to, which is also why I can't advertise it. But make sure I'm getting this question right. Why are they so hard to set up? They're not that difficult. They're not difficult because they want you to set them up. They want your business, so they try to make it as easy as possible. It's just whether or not you want to pull the trigger on certain packages and certain points. Like, you need to know what you need. If you're trying to do the RPG stuff, you want to do shirts, then you just got to find one that will sell that will help you sell those shirts. In this example, I would recommend Shopify and staying away from like Wix or anything like that. I don't know enough about WooCommerce. I've never used it. It's not bad. But do the research, see what works for you, and if you are stuck, start emailing some of these customer service because they want your business, so they're going to help you. Combination of dealing with taxes, terms of service, other legal stuff. Yes, that is stuff that you do need to pay attention for. What is the easiest way to set up a shop for free? Depends what it is. If you're looking for shirt stuff, maybe Threadless. If you're just trying to just put random stuff out there and see if it sells, I recommend TeePublic. They advertise for you. Their margins are awful, but you might make some passive cash off that. I don't recommend Redbubble. I don't recommend Teespring or any other stuff. But if you're putting myself out on one, you can technically put it out on all of them, and you never know. Let's see here. Yeah, I understand the hate of the full service packages, but I went all in on my full service packages. Actually, with my Shopify, I have a hybrid pack, and I asked customer service specifically for it because there were things I wanted for measuring things by weight without it affecting prices. So I just asked them. I'm like, hey, can I get this this feature on my shop? And they said, yeah, give us a day, we'll take care of it, but it's going to add an extra couple hundred to your package. I'm like, yeah, well, whatever, I need it, so do it. And it's still cheaper than the premium package. Ko-Fi, sure. Redbubble is expensive. Redbubble is trash. Not bad for stickers, though. If you're trying to sell a ton of random stickers, Redbubble's definitely the way to go. What's something that you wish early Matt knew while setting things up to save current Matt headaches? I don't think there's really too many headaches I could avoid. Again, I've learned everything by making these mistakes, so avoiding headaches would probably be bad. But something that I think I could have learned sooner that would have been good was starting early, but at the same time, I don't think I could have done it any earlier than I did. Like I fully recognize and appreciate that my TTRPG experience started in the pandemic, which I think was a boom on Twitter and for a lot of people that are just kind of like, yeah, I'm going to start doing my hobby stuff. I think a lot of people did that when they got quarantined, and I think getting thrown into that mix for me was really what it was. One thing to, I guess, lessen headaches overall would be make sure that you vet the people that you work with. If you take on partners, if you do anything for projects, try to understand, and if you get a vibe, trust it, get out. Bad actors, some of them are really good. Some of them are really good, and some of them are absolutely cutthroat. So you got to know who you're working with, and you got to protect yourself. That is definitely something. Like I was nice and trying to help people a lot early, not with TTRPG, but just in stuff in general. And oh boy, did it burn me. Yeah, don't do that. Oh, Ethan's Ko-Fi. Which is the one you recommended? Did I miss it? What was the You can raise the price on your margins for stickers. Stickers I find sell from like $5. You can move that up. I was making like a $1.10 off stickers for a while. I made some anti-Trump stickers, and oh, they went through the roof. Oh yeah, Ethan's a great example. Ooh. Oh, forgive me. I may have done that wrong. Okay. All right. So if there's no more questions, I'm gonna start wrapping it up. Unless you want to give it 5 more minutes, just hang out. And you start your week. Maybe thinking of some things you might want to do for your business, or ways to improve your marketing, or ways to make friends on social, or give back to your community, or help someone that you don't know, or remind someone that you love that you care about them. Do these things. I'm just gonna eat jelly beans. I'm gonna pop back to the stage, see who's here. Cool. All right. So hopefully some of that was helpful. Again, if you want the resources for making it a business, it's on the site. It's on DungeonGlitch.com, which is also RPGforfree.com. I'm gonna so I on there I recommend the company called Incorporate, and I've made 3 companies through them, and they are by far the best. By far the best. And if you use my link, you get a discount. So, yeah. These Rex. Random recommendations? Is that what you're asking for? Oh yeah, no, I get that. Oh, there's a question. Did I miss it? A quick, cheap way to make a store for PDFs. I mean, cheap. I don't really recommend cheap because I mean, if you're selling digital products, I would definitely recommend you go into. Well, I mean, with any business, I recommend that you pay for a platform that will also protect you. Like, yeah, I mean, I haven't really looked into Ko-Fi specifically. That's how I pronounce it because I read it that way. And yeah, you can kind of sell and dispense, but I don't know if that gives you protections. I don't know if it allows people to come back and download it later. You can't do samples. You can't do random promotion sales. I don't know. I mean, maybe it does all that stuff. If it does, then it's probably a good option. you can easily do it with a Shopify. You can do a lot of cool stuff. Hey, if Ko-Fi does all that stuff, more power to you. Do it. All right. So if that is it, hopefully that helps. I mean, I don't know. I don't have a store that sells PDFs yet. I'll give you a week. It's basically Patreon with an option for one-time donation stuff. Cool. So we are at 15 past. I think I'm gonna call it. So you say that, but guaranteed you'll have PDF store by Wednesday. Yeah, sounds about right. So well, that's the thing. I mean, you know, I made Gemmed Firefly, and and it does everything. Like I'm allowed to do that. I make music. I make everything. It's all there. I would love to become a publisher at some point, and then I can help everyone make profits off their actual products and not be at the mercy of half commission places and that kind of stuff. If I could figure that out one day, that'd be dope. Yeah. Yeah. It's all right. I'm still working in the background on stuff. Don't worry about it. We're making progress every day. Don't worry about it. All right, everybody. You have been fantastic. This, really long week. This is the last project I have on my calendar for the week, which is great. And cool. I'm going to sleep for a couple hours, maybe. So, again, if you have any random questions, hit me up. You have my yeah. Well, I can only imagine. I look at all this work you did. You should be super proud. This is fantastic. You made a convention server. You're running things, and you're all over the place. So massive credit. Big thank yous to Will, and all the JennCon team. Yeah. So, you know, if you run this again next year, hit me up. I'll do it again. It's fun. Yeah, any con I don't have to actually physically go to, I'm with. Well, in most cases, there's some I don't want to do. But yeah, no, this was a lot of fun. I think I kind of like that it's a more intimate atmosphere, like smaller groups, and I can really kind of get to everything. I don't need a moderator keeping track of everything. But cool. Thank you so much, everybody. What's this? Character sheet stuff. Cool. Oh yeah, no, I meant to get to that. I didn't get to anything today. I'm gonna have to catch it all on the back end. Yep. There's DungeonGlitch.com. So if you need if random RPG tools like name generators or place descriptions, that kind of stuff, it's there. Also, there's an article that I put up maybe a week or two ago, and it covers all the basics for the steps that I talked about, and also, yeah, that would make a good sticker. And it's also got the links that you would to just make everything super streamlined. And again, I recommend you just pay experts for stuff. Starting a business is a big step, but you need to invest in it because you need to invest in your brand and your business. And if you're trying to wing stuff, you're not going to get too far without a ton of work and a ton of luck. So that's going to do it for me, everybody. You've been great. Thank you again. Have a wonderful week. And I admire your ambition. Just give yourself credit for showing up tonight. So this is important. Cool.